A new member of the Vision looks like it was just revealed, so we'll see what's new there. We'll also check out what's up with Stephanie, Nikki, and more. Starting things off with everything new for the Vision. The group recently took a big hit with the injury to Seth Rollins and the removal of Seth Rollins from the group entirely. Following that big removal, there was a lot of questions about where this group was going next. Was it just remaining as Paul Heyman and the Bronze? Would someone else be recruited, or how would that play out? Well, the November 3rd edition of Raw provided some answers and hinted at many things. One of these big moments was Paul Heyman attempting to recruit Jey Uso to the Vision. Paul Heyman visited Jey backstage and really tried to get this into his head. Heyman told Jey he was always his favorite member of the Bloodline. Heyman wondered why Jey would accept teaming up with CM Punk, especially after that world title loss at Saturday night's main event. Heyman argued that's not something the tribal chief Roman Reigns would do, but Jey noted that Punk beat him straight up, so he's not angry towards Punk. Paul Heyman also provided some context to why the Bronze did not get involved with the world title match between Punk and Jey. Heyman personally requested for the Bronze to stay out of that match, but now that it's over and a champion has been crowned, Heyman is fully unleashing the Bronze, and it'll be an all-out war against the locker room. So it looks like this was an attempt by Paul Heyman to potentially get Jey involved in the Vision, or at least try and put Punk and Jey on different pages, but it didn't work. And then later in the night, during the main event, Logan Paul comes running out looking like he's going to assist CM Punk and Jey. Logan tried assisting Punk earlier in the day, but got beaten down by the Vision. So it was meant to have that big moment of a babyface turn fake out for Logan Paul. You think he's going to help CM Punk, but then Logan Paul knocks Punk out with those brass knuckles. Logan Paul stepped up to Paul Heyman and handed him that pair of brass knuckles as the show faded to black. So based off the context clues, it doesn't look like this was a part of any plan from Paul Heyman. That was fully Logan Paul's decision, and Heyman was loving every second of it. And fans are trying to figure out if this means Logan Paul is going all in and joining the Vision as a new member. But what does seem to be confirmed from this moment is that Logan Paul could be joining the Vision's team, at least for the War Games match. It's officially time for the War Games build-up to begin, and if the Vision is involved in that matchup, they're going to need a lot of help since they only have 2 active members. So Logan Paul handing over the brass knuckles and choosing the Vision side has to mean that Logan Paul will be joining their War Games team at Survivor Series. Making their team now include Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, and Logan Paul. They would need 2 more members for Team Vision at War Games, so Paul Heyman would have to be on full recruitment mode over these next few weeks here. And if you put Paul Heyman in charge of finding those 2 additional teammates for War Games, he'll surely find them. There's only been one ally for the Vision's team at War Games that has been talked about for several months now, and that's obviously Brock Lesnar. Fans have been talking about Brock Lesnar joining Team Vision at War Games pretty much since he returned in August, and the fan theory still very much is alive and in play. WWE did repair Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman's on-screen relationship back in September, and they probably did that because of their intentions to place Brock Lesnar on that War Games team. So Brock is heavily in play to take on one of those 2 remaining spots on Paul Heyman's War Games team that he'll be pulling together. It's harder to find a bigger Paul Heyman guy than Brock Lesnar. So if Heyman really needs this War Games favor from Brock, we're to assume that Brock will come through for Heyman and agree to align himself with the Vision for that one night at War Games. So quite the roster there that's being created for the Vision. Logan Paul, the Bronze, potentially Brock Lesnar, and still someone else to throw in after that. That's looking like a stacked team right there. So you would have big names like Logan Paul and Brock Lesnar joining the Vision for this big match. But the real big question is, what would be Logan and Brock's statuses with the Vision post-War Games? Is it just a one-night alliance? Will Logan Paul remain in the faction? Will Brock Lesnar remain in the faction? Those are the real burning questions that fans have about all these War Games additions for the Vision. It sure does seem possible for Logan Paul to stick around and fit in with the Vision. Seems like that can happen. But the idea of Brock Lesnar joining the Vision is kind of pointless because he's not going to really be around 85% of the time. So adding him really does not do much for the group in the bigger picture. And for the other side of the ring, it looks like CM Punk will lead his own War Games team against the Vision's team. CM Punk's team also seems a bit predictable. You can sort of get an idea of who could be on that team, and it's basically everyone that's been battling the Vision for several months. This includes Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and LA Knight. So that very may well be Punk's entire team right there. All those names do perfectly fit into this year's War Games match. Lots of dynamics and exciting things to watch out for in this War Games match if all these participants are in the match after all. Something that a lot of fans are already discussing is a face-off and stare-down between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar during the War Games match. Roman and Brock were probably the biggest feud WWE had going back in the mid to late 2010s. They were such arch rivals with each other, but it's been quite a while since they last shared the ring. So seeing the classic feud get reignited with the War Games match will definitely be one of those moments that goes viral for sure. Two of the biggest names looking at each other in the eyes again in the middle of the ring. That's bound to get people talking for sure. So there'll be a lot to look out for during the War Games season. It's looking like lots of returns and unexpected alliances will be taking place here in the coming weeks. Another storyline that's been surprisingly getting a lot of airtime recently is the pairing of Stephanie and Nikki Bella. They're not really a tag team. Stephanie is the world champion after all, but for some reason, these two have been stuck together as a strong duo in recent weeks. And they're definitely laying it on pretty thick about how they apparently deeply admire each other. Stephanie called Nikki Bella one of the all-time greats, and how Nikki paved the way for the women's division to be where it's at today. And Nikki's been returning a lot of the same praise back into Stephanie as well. Nikki is posting pictures of Stephanie nonstop online. Nikki is even posting a picture of herself kissing a Stephanie poster backstage on Raw. So definitely a lot of love, praise, and admiration going on here between the two of them. The story at the moment appears to be Stephanie and Nikki versus the Judgment Day, but a lot of fans are becoming more and more suspicious about a heel turn for Nikki Bella. And everything that's been happening in recent weeks is actually building up towards Stephanie versus Nikki for the world title instead. So all that love that Nikki's throwing at Stephanie could turn out to be fake after all, and a brutal heel turn looks like it still has a strong chance of happening. So watch out for little details there with this story. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.